Okay, well that's better. We have a little backlight issue there for a second, but I think we're just about ready to go. Brett, if you're there in Brooklyn, you can put us through to the vj.com Facebook page and we can get started. Okay, 2:30, so theoretically we're on the air. Okay, so I wanted to do another live stream. I'm gonna get in like these live stream on Facebook things. And this time I wanted to talk about the impact of television, particularly on the Trump campaign and why I'm quite convinced he's going to get elected, terrible though he may be, at least in my opinion. Hey, Neil, how are you? If you want to type in questions while we're doing this, there is a slight delay, but I'm always happy to answer them and address them. The essence of this thing, I think, is the power of television. Hello, Ben, how are you? So the whole point here is that I think that Trump has gotten the nomination, and I think he's going to get elected, unfortunately, not because of his brilliant ideas, which I think are ridiculous, and not because he doesn't have any ideas really, but he's fantastic television. He understands the medium, and he understands it in a way that Hillary, who is crap television, doesn't seem to be able to understand it. And the more you see her on television, the more votes Trump gets, because he is just appalling in terms of the use of the medium. And this started me thinking, should I tell his, yeah, I will tell that story, Neil, that's a good idea. Well, I can start by telling that story while people tune in. The last time that Hillary ran in 2008, was it 2008? Lisa's over here in the corner on the couch, right, nodding, yes. We got invited to one of these stupid fundraiser things in the Hamptons. It was like $10,000 a plate, and you got a chance to come in, and for your 10 grand, you got, the meal was not bad. Who was it who catered the meal? It was Balud, Daniel Balud? Anyway, oh, yes. Yeah, Daniel Balud. I mean, food was fantastic, but $10,000, I mean, you expect a decent meal. Anyway, Clinton was there, Bill Clinton was there along with Hillary, and this was a fundraiser for Hillary. Obviously, the woman knows how to raise money, if nothing else. So we were at this house in the Hamptons, which belonged to obviously a very rich guy, and we had, for your 10,000 bucks, you get about 3 minutes with Hillary, and then Lisa got to sit next to Bill during dessert. Did he put his hand on your knee? I don't remember. No, he didn't. Well, you get one chance. Anyway, we had our one chance with Hillary, and we paid all this money, so I thought, let's get something out of this thing. So when we got our 3 minutes or 2 minutes or 30 seconds with Hillary, Lisa went up to her in her very British accent. She said, you know, your video is terrible. And this seemed to get Hillary's attention. This was 2008. So what we did was we just sold her that. And the next thing, Hillary waved her hand. And the next thing, we were over at some other table with Huma. You know Huma now. We didn't know who Huma was then. We still have her business card. And Huma sat us down at this table and said, what do you mean the video is terrible? And we said, well, you should be all over social media with video. You don't do anything, and it's crazy. And Hillary said, well, what are you talking about? Sorry, Huma said, what are you talking about? And so we turned to her and she said, you should be on YouTube. So Huma wrote down U-T-U-B-E. And we said, no, not YouTube, it's why. So we wrote it out for her. And she said, oh, that's very interesting. I'll have to look into this. The idea that the Clinton people didn't even know what YouTube was in 2008 is astonishing in and of itself. At any rate, we were hoping to get some huge consulting contract, because God knows they have enough money and they hire enough other idiots. They could have hired us. But they didn't hire us, and we almost never heard from them again, except we started getting faxes asking for more money. Then about 3 months later, we got a call from Huma's office. They said, we listened to all your advice. They didn't pay anything for it. They just listened to it. And so they said, and Hillary is going to be on her website doing video just like you suggested. So we thought, we'll take a look. So we tuned into the website, and there she was, sitting in front of a bookcase with lights and a 3-camera shoot. Probably ABC News came in and did it for $100,000, with pearls on and this formal thing. And she looked in the camera, and it was like Good Morning America. And she said, hello and welcome to my webcast. Today I'm going to be taking your questions online. And then they cut to some woman who was sitting in the corner, Jane, who had a laptop, and said, Jane, what's our first question? Jane said, thank you, Hillary. Let me read you this email. And they cut back and forth. It was the worst. It was the most contrived piece of crap you ever saw in your life. And of course, we wrote to them and said, that's a contrived piece of crap. You still don't get it. We didn't hear from them again except for asks for more money, and of course we never got a consulting contract with them. So to this day, the woman still does not understand the medium. Trump understands the medium. He lives the medium. Huma and Anthony would be much better off today if they'd quit politics. No question, Neil. They should have signed up for the course. They can still do it. Hillary, we'll give you a 50% discount if you want to come in. We're going to teach you how this medium works. At any rate, that is the reason I think that she is going to lose, because today it's all about television, which is a terrible thing to say, but it is. So that experience and lots of other things made me start writing this new book that I'm going to publish on Amazon. I've had it with agents and publishers and stuff like that. I don't make any money out of the last 2 books anyway, so I'm just going to give it out for free or sell it for next to nothing. But the point of the books is that television is the most powerful medium we have in the world today. It is incredibly powerful. And in some ways, the power of this medium was only driven home to me a couple of weeks ago. Lisa and I were at a wedding in Anguilla. And, you know, one of these destination weddings, which is absolutely appalling anyway, because you just spend a fortune to go to the thing. But I shouldn't say that, right? She said, don't say it. It was my nephew. It was a lovely affair. My sister did a great job. Anyway, we're at the wedding, and after dinner, a bunch of us went into the bar, and we started having a couple of drinks. And before you know it, we started to sit around, and we started to sing the opening theme songs to TV shows, like Gilligan's Island, or My Mother the Car, or The Real McCoys, or any of those TV shows. And suddenly, everybody in the room who were our age could do them. And what occurred to me was that we had all been, you know, the average American watches 5 hours of television a day, every single day. The average American also spends 19 minutes a day reading. That shows you the difference between the power of television and the power of print, which we spend so much time extolling. But in point of fact, television is the #1 killer in terms of media. And 5 hours a day, every single day, it's like brainwashing. It soaks inside of you, and we've been doing this our whole lives. So all these people, all these adults, all these people with really serious jobs and bank people and doctors and stuff like that, they could reel off, you know, the Beverly Hillbillies song, and I'm sure you can also do it too, because the thing is stuck inside of you, because this television gets inside of you like a virus, because it's so insidious and it drips in all the time. So this made me start to think the power of this thing is vastly beyond what we accept of it and what we believe it's possible to do. It is incredibly powerful and dangerous medium. And the reason that Trump, this idiot, resonates with millions and millions of Americans, which he does, is because they have been preconditioned to like him because of years and years and years of watching television. And that's what makes him so powerful. He understands the medium, and Hillary does not get the medium. And the more you see her on television, the more people go to Trump, because innately this virus inside of us makes us like him, which is insane in some ways, but it's absolutely the truth. Now, this incredibly powerful medium of television is the most powerful medium, certainly in the world today, and maybe the most powerful medium that humanity has ever created. It's also controlled by about a dozen people, which is demented. It's dangerous for a democracy to have this incredibly insidious, powerful medium controlled by a dozen major corporations or a dozen people, and these people get to decide what you not only see, they get to decide what gets implanted inside your brain. Not to sound like I should be wearing a tinfoil helmet, but it's absolutely true. The stuff drips in 5 hours a day, every single day. It has an impact on the way that you think. It would be one thing if it were a free press and everybody was allowed to participate in it. But it's not a free press. It's not controlled by us. We don't get to put stuff into it. I mean, I'm kind of putting something into it now, and this is an entirely new technology. So this made me start to think, what do we do with this thing? We're not going to get rid of it. I mean, it's not realistic to say no one will ever watch television again because, come on, it's like heroin. It's addictive. You can't stop looking at it. So the next question is, if it really is so powerful and it really is so insidious, what can we do to change it? Well, one thing you can do is certainly you can sign up for the courses like Hillary ought to do, and Anthony Weiner should have done, that idiot, and many other politicians should do. And I'm not saying they shouldn't sign up for the courses, but there's something much more profound and much more interesting that can be done here. Now, I'm reading a very interesting book called The Printing Press as an Agent of Change by Elizabeth Eisenstein. I realize this is not, bestseller list stuff, but it's a fascinating book because it's the history of what the printing press did to Western society and how it actually happened. And there's a lesson here in the printing press for those of us who are interested in taking control of, seizing control of, and using this incredibly powerful medium to our own ends. The interesting thing with the printing press was that when Gutenberg invented the printing press, and I'm not going to get into the monk story because we'd be here all day, but essentially the printing press was originally used by the church to print letters of indulgence. That's the weird thing, and I didn't really know it till I read the book. Letters of indulgence, of course, was a way in which you could buy your way out of sinning. And this became a huge business for the Catholic Church after the printing press came along because they started cranking out tens of thousands of these letters of indulgence every single month, which made a fortune for them. And Martin Luther was pissed off that this corruption had happened in the church, and the corruption was really driven by the printing press itself. And so Luther said, screw it, in effect, I'm going to use this piece of technology and turn it on the church, which they never expected. But he was able to do that because, frankly, everybody could get their hands on a printing press. Well, we don't live in a world of print anymore. I mean, we kind of live in a world of print, but as I said before, the average American only spends 19 minutes a day reading. I don't think that counts the crawls across the bottom of Fox News. But we spend 5 hours a day watching television and 8.5 hours a day watching screens is what you're doing here. Every single person, or 6 billion people, have smartphones in their pockets. These television networks think smartphones are a place that you can watch their stupid shows. You don't have to watch them on TV. You can watch them on smartphones. TV everywhere, they call it. Like the church, and they are the church for the 21st century. They're the equivalent of the Catholic Church. Like the church, the media companies don't get what the iPhone is really good for. But you can, the way Luther got what the printing press could be used for. And that is to take this medium and use it yourself, to understand how it works and to create your own content and put it into the system. It's an incredibly powerful tool that you have in your pocket. Not only you, but 6 billion other people have it all the time. So if you have something to say, if you have an opinion, if you have an idea to express, if you have a story to tell, you can do it now. You don't have to wait for NBC or CBS or CNN to deign to come and do your story. Whatever your story is, whatever piece of information you have to do, you can publish now on your own. And while we're on the subject, who the hell hired Matt Lauer to be the purveyor of what we get to see? This, to me, is absolutely a piece of criminal insanity. Who hired or who elected any of these people to be the filter of what we get to see? So what I'm advocating for here, and what I'm advocating in the book that I'm writing, and I hope you'll all read it when it gets finished, give me another couple of weeks, is the democratization of the medium of television, which to me, it's a revolution. It's a revolution because it means overthrowing the power of the networks to be the gatekeepers about what you get to see, and it means turning all of us from content observers. That's what television has always been. It's been a passive observer medium. It changes us from being observers to being participants and taking control of the medium. And that's pretty much it. So, well, how far have I gone now? It's almost 15 minutes, which they tell me you should only do 5 on live streaming, but that's how it is. Michael Burns, how are you? Nice to see you. Anyway, that's my whole wrap. If you have something to say or a question, be sure to email it to me, Michael at Rosenblum TV. I'm always happy to talk to anybody, as anybody who knows me know. And also, on Wednesday, Lisa and I will be doing live streaming on thevj.com, and the whole subject there we're going to be discussing is how to start your own broadcast channel, which actually we're doing with a bunch of people. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope if you didn't look at this live, you'll look at it later in tape or on our YouTube channel for thevj.com. Bye.